Germany has suspended major shipments of weapons to Turkey. Germany and Turkey are NATO members. Denying a weapons request from a fellow partner is against the rules of the coalition. But the German foreign minister says all weapons shipments are on thin ice after Turkish police detained a German couple accusing them of spying. Well, to discuss this, I'm joined now from Ankara by Onur Erim. He's an international policy analyst and government advisor. Thanks so much for joining us once again, Onur. So the fact that the German foreign minister has taken this decision and they've frozen weapons shipments, how angry is Turkey and how angry should Turkey be given these actions from the Germans?
Well, first of all, this is just an outburst of what has been going on under the covers or off the news for some time to go. To give you one example, Germany has stopped the engine supply for the Obas bombers for Turkey, the one that Turkey produces. I think it's been over a year and a half. As to how upset the Turkish government will be, I don't think it's going to be that upsetting because this is something that we've been expecting. When you add on the German side, especially as everyone stresses, with the election, the general elections coming up in Germany, these are, I think, things to be expected. This is not something that anybody expects from an ally. This is not something that anybody expects from a NATO partner. This is not something that anybody expects from years of friendship between the two countries. However, the Germany's approach in relation to allyship with Turkey in the last year or so has been upsetting time after time. It's had upset the Turkish people when they started harboring the FETÖ terrorists. It has upset people when they stopped having Turkish politicians to be able to talk to their constituents in Germany before elections. It has upset the Turkish people when they started intervening inside the Turkish politics, when they openly said to say no in the Turkish referendum. So this is just a last scene in a number of things that's been going on for the last year and a half. Most of this has been tied to coming up elections, general elections in Germany. And let's just hope that is the exact reason and it's not something deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The theory goes that because the foreign minister is from a party that's, I guess, more hawkish on Turkey, perhaps this is politicking, and Angela Merkel is, of course, from another party. They're in a ruling coalition, but after the elections, this might die down. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Let me ask you, Onur, if, all things considered, there's parity here. So on the one hand, Turkey is angry because they see PKK rallies, for example, on the streets of Germany, or they feel that Germany doesn't want to hand over failed coup suspects, right? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, the Germans are saying, you're not giving German citizens due process, and that's why an objective analysis is this is tit for tat between two NATO members.
Well, when you compare the two, there is no comparison. On one hand, you have a country, namely Germany, not giving up, I believe, just over 500 or 600 suspected, and some of them are actually accused terrorists of belonging to the FETÖ organization. Mm-hmm. I'm not even talking about the PKK or the DHKPC part. On the other hand, and these are people that are very possibly, and now it's being actually accused that their reason for at least 250 Turkish citizens who have lost their lives in the coup attempt, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, we're talking about two, and let's say they are innocent, two detained German citizens. There is no comparison. As we say in Turkish, the imam has to do as the imam preaches. If Germany is so concerned about human rights, if Germany is so concerned about allyship, if Germany is so concerned about strong relationship, I think they should look beyond the fact that they have elections coming up and, unfortunately, hitting Turkey, hitting President Erdogan. They think that they're going to win them votes. I was on the way coming to work this morning. I had a fender bender with a driver. We came up to fill out some paperwork. Turned out He's actually a taxi owner in Düsseldorf. And he's a third-generation Turkish-German. And I had a conversation with him, and I said, listen, there's an idea that we have in Turkey that this is what's going on. He said, we all feel the same, Germans feel the same. There's a very strong feeling that the far right in Germany is going to increase their votes and probably form a coalition along with Merkel. And that is, as most Germans and almost all the Turks, as he put it out, he said, that's what's going on, but this has probably gone too far, which is something according to Gıyasettin of Düsseldorf, this is something that went too far, damaging a long-standing relationship, a long-standing allyship between Germany and Turkey, just for the sake of elections. And they're all hoping that they're saying is that he was saying that almost all Germans in their right mind think that there is a relationship between Germany and Turkey that cannot be broken. Both Germany needing Turkey and Turkey, according to him, needing Germany. But this has gone too far between two allies.
Yeah, and the two countries do certainly need each other. I mean, economically, they definitely need each other. Politically, there's many arguments that they need each other. You mentioned the election, and there's a feeling that after the election, everything will go back to square one. Can there be a comparison with the referendum in Turkey, where there were some tough words, even from this side? There were Nazi comparisons and so on when it came to the Germans. Very tough words, but then reset was hit after the referendum here. Is the same going to happen after the German election, and everybody's back to being friends?
Well, let's all hope so, because as I said, Germany is, I believe, if not our biggest trade partner, is one of the top three. And there's a lot of German investment in Turkey. There's a lot of Turkish investment in Germany. People are tending to forget that there's just over 1 million ethnically Turkish-Germans or Germans living in Turkey who are going to vote. And as you said, Germany and most of their politicians had gone over their head during the referendum, explicitly asking or telling, so to speak, to Turkish citizens on how to vote. The only reaction that came on our side when President Erdogan said, if I was there, if I was a Turk living in Germany, a German citizen, I would not have voted for these people that hate Turkey, after all. And that's all the reaction that we had. It's far less intervening and far less, appropriate as to what the German politicians did. I still remember the pictures of German parliament members and even ministers holding no votes for the referendum.
Certainly. Let me ask you very finally, I'm not that naive to think that a defense deal worth hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars can be concluded like in a day or two. However, the timing is interesting that Turkey is purchasing this Russian S-400 missile system, right? So doing a defense deal with the Russians at a time when the Germans are saying, we're going to stop selling arms to you. Is that an indication to Berlin that we'll do business elsewhere if you're going to treat us like this?
That probably is certainly one of the points, but let's not forget Turkey is, I believe, the third or the fourth NATO member that is going to purchase these weapons. And U.S. especially, this is probably somewhat of a reaction to maybe U.S.'s strategy over Turkey and its arms deals with Turkey. But yeah, it would definitely be also a side message to Germany. Hey, if we work together, fine. If we don't, there's other alternatives. As I said, today's or yesterday's message from Germany about the arms deal has actually just officialized what has been going on for the last year or 2 years. I know of at least one example, and there's probably many others, that there was a covered embargo by Germany on arms deals to Turkey or slowed down or hiking prices. But as I said, it's a global world right now, and if we would like to work with our partners, we would like to work with our allies, especially NATO allies, but if it comes to a point where it actually damages our defense in Turkey, military defense, we will definitely look for other ways, because what we are concerned foremost and first is the security in Turkey. the security of the Republic of Turkey.
Onur Erim, thanks for joining us from Ankara. Good to talk to you. Okay, and we'll have special coverage from Germany next week on the upcoming elections, including why the first far-right party in post-war history could enter the Bundestag.